Are you thinking about setting up a coaching practice? This is a common request that comes across my desk quite frequently. A lot of people who would desire to give back, to coach or mentor executives, and eventually maybe transition into this type of work full time. I still believe it's a fabulous profession. I've been in the profession for 15 plus years. It's still very lucrative. You can still make a decent living. It has become more competitive. There are a lot of people who've hung up a shingle and claim to be a coach or a mentor, and set up their own enterprise. And generally speaking, in the sort of the competitive landscape, I'd say there's about 10% of the talent pool of coaches and mentors who are really top draw, excellent individuals who consistently get results and are sort of the go-to people in the market. So I think if you're going to enter this market, you would aspire to be the best of the best. And I think if you're going to do that, there's a couple of things you need to get right before you set up your coaching practice. First and foremost, you need to understand the lie of the land. What are the education principles? And I would familiarize myself with the two sort of peak foundations that head up the group and head up coaches, for example. The ICF, the International Coaches Federation, is very well known and respected. And these guys sort of set the charter, if you like, for the code of ethics, what sort of education you should be doing, and so on. I believe coaches and mentors should do some form of formal training. Training is important because it gives you the structure, the systems, the methodologies to deal with clients when the going gets tough. Most people could probably get away with coaching or mentoring based on their work experience and the various roles that they've held, and they'd be able to apply things quite effectively. But it all works well and good, but then you come across a client who's not responding well, or a client who can't have that breakthrough for whatever reason, or a client who becomes very, very difficult to coach all of a sudden. And you still want them to get a result, and that's where the training really does come in very, very handy, because it's going to give you the tools, the methodologies, the systems to really sort of work through those issues in a session. Also, it's a differentiator because there are some people who never get qualified, never get trained, and aren't committed. So if you want to be in that top 10% of the industry, you're going to do some form of education. There's a raft of different options in the market. I did my training years ago through Results, which in the day was very, very well thought of. But there's a lot of great courses out there, but I would be wanting to make sure it's a quality program, and that there's, sort of, you're going to get value for money, because these courses are not typically cheap, and you want to sort of, get some benefit from it. And then, my philosophy is that the first year, which is usually the toughest, is really crucial to get a few things right. You must pick a niche. The coaches who are successful in the market are very specialized, and if you try and be all things to all people, you'll end up really struggling to secure clients and business. So I made a decision quite early on that my whole philosophy was around helping people in their careers, and that's been the mantle of my programs, and it's given me direction with how I offer my services in the market. And I'm the best of the best in that sector, so I just don't have too many challenges. So you can own a niche very effectively if you're really clear about where you can add the most value. The second thing is you must get the right advice and support to set your coaching practice up. And one of the best things I ever did was I got a coach to coach me on how to get my first 10 clients. Even though I had a lot of sales ability and a lot of marketing ability, and I had great websites and so on, that coaching program was very effective because, number one, it kept me accountable. Number two, shone a real light on how you engage with people, how you bring them into a practice, how you secure your first clients, how you charge for your time, how you set your programs up. It just enabled me to fast track things enormously. But it's a very, very good profession. I think, you would be quite surprised with the income levels. I know a lot of coaches who are earning well over the 500,000 per annum mark. I know a number that earn over the 1 million mark per annum, and they're not doing necessarily group coaching, but obviously as you go up through the revenue numbers, you're probably doing some form of group program or have some form of e-learning to sort of capitalize on your time, because your time's limited. You can only do so many coaching sessions in an hour. But I know a lot of people who've been able to leave the corporate world and replicate a very nice level of income. And some of the benefits of coaching and a coaching practice or a mentoring practice is you can do it on your terms. You could do it in your preferred hours. You could set your practice up like I do. I coach Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and on my Mondays and my Fridays I do other activity, whether it be videos or e-learning or administration for my practice. So you can set this up so that you're working a very nice lifestyle but still generating a very nice income. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, but certainly in the first year you could get yourself up to maybe 100, 150 as a target, and in the second years, as you build your practice up, you could certainly be earning a very significant number. If you've got the right experience in the background and you put the effort into understanding the lie of the land, the education you need, the associations you should join, and of course have that niche clearly identified where you can add the most value. But it's definitely worth looking at. So if you're interested, drop into my diary. I'd love to have a chat with you about it, and maybe help and assist in some way in getting your coaching or mentoring practice established.